We're back and we are talking about the different ways we can tell our autofocus to behave in our cameras, okay? You know, a blurry photo is no good. You've got to be able to get that lens sharp on your subject of your photo, whether it's your kids playing soccer, whether it's your wife standing under a tree, whether it's a shot of the Eiffel Tower when you're on holidays. You've got to be able to achieve focus. Cool, alright. Good thing is, cameras these days are epically awesome and are really well set up for helping you get there. So as long as you know a little bit about autofocus and how to adjust its various modes, you're going to get really, really good results. Of course, you could leave your camera back down on auto town here and the camera will be trying to work out for itself whether you are in fact trying to shoot a moving object, whether you're trying to shoot a static object, whether you're trying to shoot something on the left of the frame, on the right of the frame, something dead in the middle. And of course it's going to be meddling with exposure and trying to make all these decisions for you, and suddenly it's starting to feel like if you could just help your camera and just take, say, control of your ISO, if you could take control of your exposure compensation and, you know, in the next couple of minutes learn how to take control of how you want its autofocus to behave, all of a sudden it's going to have so much free time on its hands that it's really going to be able to help out you achieving the right shutter speed and the right aperture, okay? We still haven't got to you adjusting those two settings, which are kind of the big settings, but they're also the two hardest settings to master. And by you taking control of all these other settings, you're going to get great photos as we work towards being, you know, fully in control of every aspect of this crazy beast. Alright, so we're in P. We've got an ISO of about 1000 whatevs. It's all good. We're going to look at autofocus. On this camera there's a button here called AF and drive, and when you hit that, stuff starts to happen up on this LCD screen here. But I want to show you just on the back screen here because it looks better for video. Let me just pull some focus here so it's sharp. Yes! Alright, so we're hitting that button. Oop, excuse me. Hit that button and look at what's going on here. We've got a graphic come up. And we've got 3 different types of autofocus. I wish you would stay longer. That's the ISO button. Here we go. We've got 3 different types of autofocus. And then we've got 5 different ways we can tell the camera drive to behave. Alright, let's talk about this top wheel. Notice there's a little picture in the top right hand corner here. That's telling you which wheel on the camera controls what, yeah? So this top wheel, it's like a little half circle because it looks like a half circle on the camera. We're going from one shot, we're going to an automatic mode on the camera that kind of switches between one shot and AI servo. Alright, basically I never really bother with this one. I pick between the two, yeah? If you shoot on the really pro models like the 1D, I don't know about the real latest model, but I certainly spent a heap of my career shooting on the Mark IV, and that only had these two to pick from. It didn't have this thingy here. So basically what one shot is saying you half press your shutter button, bam, we're in focus. That's it. The camera's not going to look anywhere else. It's going to hit what's in focus. It's going to assume what you hover your focus point on. We'll get to focus points in the next video. You hit your focus point over your subject. You squeeze this trigger halfway. You hear that beep. Oh, that's a sweet beep. You're in focus on that subject, yeah? If you, however long you hold that finger, the camera's going to hold focus until you either take a picture or you let go and you refocus again. Alright, cool. That's one shot. Moving over to AI servo, what this does is keep trying to achieve focus. It keeps looking. It never gives up, okay? This is, as long as you've got that trigger down halfway, you won't hear a beep because your camera's hunting, yeah? It's looking for stuff. So you've got to get your focus point over what you want in focus. And if that subject is moving towards you, you might be shooting sport. It might be running all over the field. As long as you're hovering, getting your camera to hover that focus point over that subject, this mode of autofocus is gonna be working its butt off to grip focus for you, all right? This is what you shoot sport on. You've got a football player running around. You whack your camera into this, you hover your focus point over him, and you chase him. You move that camera left to right, you grip him, and this camera will do its darndest for you to get focus, yeah? Sorry, I get a bit excited about autofocus. Now we're looking down the bottom here, we're moving this big wheel. The picture looks like a big wheel, yeah? And this is called the drive mode. So you can, basically, the drive mode is referring to how many pictures your camera takes per second or how it does stuff like that. So if you're on this mode, which is called single shooting, bam, you click, you hold that trigger, nothing else happens. You've taken your picture, man. You look at it. Look at our pretty floor. All right. When you go back in, where's that button going? High speed, low speed, continuous. And all camera manufacturers have variances on these, but for the most part they're all there. And then you've got a self timer, which means you squeeze the trigger and 10 seconds later, bam, the shutter fires, which is good for, you know, those self portraits where you set your tripod up and then run into the shot. 10-second one, 2-second one, yeah. These three here are really where it's fun to hang out. So if you're shooting something that you want more than one click at a time, you shoot it on the low. All of a sudden your camera's rocking frames, yeah? It's cool. I keep getting that button wrong. Go into high speed continuous and let's have a listen to this. Starts to shoot really, really fast. So you can already start to think, and each one of those clicks is a picture. So you're shooting sport, yeah? You're squeezing that trigger. You're cycling through a lot of shots, yeah? You're hovering your focus point over your moving subject whilst you're squeezing that trigger. Your camera's chasing him autofocus wise, and all the while you're holding down that trigger, it's making pictures. You're going to get some great shots.